Hello guys and welcome back to Birmingham Fan TV. I am your host James for this Bristol City preview, guys, and wasn't it nice after a win last week, and not just that, a winning week. 2 clean sheets, 2 wins, 5 goals. Fantastic week, and it's felt much better this week over the slightly longer period. It's a bit rare that we get 7 days between games, but hey ho, it was a nice break, and I hope you're all ready to go again this week. Guys, I just wanted to say quickly a massive thank you to the huge increase in subscribers. Welcome to the 60 or 70 new subscribers from last week. I hope you're enjoying the content, and I hope you just leave a like on this video. Can we hit 75 likes on this video? I know the vlog hit 100 likes, so that was much appreciated. And guys, just so you don't forget, each video, when it does go up, it's usually up about 9 o'clock for a preview, and it can vary for the reviews. Just leave the notification bell on. So you're notified when I upload all of my latest videos and to YouTube, so you don't miss any of those, guys. But let's get straight into the video, and this weekend's opponents are Bristol City. Before we get into Bristol City and what they can pose to us this weekend, let's talk about last week in brief terms. It was a pleasing week, really, wasn't it? I know we can't keep going back to it, obviously, but the bounce back ability of this team is fantastic. It takes a lot of guts to come back from a Derby Day defeat, and that is exactly what we did. And I didn't, you know, if I'm going to hold my hands up and be honest, I didn't think we'd come back this well, but we have, and it just fills me with so much confidence for the rest of the season now that we can kick on and do and have a very successful season. I'm not talking promotion, but you know, considering we've been in so many relegation scraps for the last few years, anything above 15th, I suppose, is successful for Blues. And look, I'm an optimist as well. There's no reason why we can't push for that top half. To go to a place like Millwall last week and get a clean sheet, first team to stop them scoring at home this season, and to score 2 goals and being not controlled but comfortable for a lot of the game was, you know, testament to the way we're playing and the way we can play away from home and the way we can. I think the reintroduction of Gary Gardner last week and etc, etc. And then, you know, it was a completely different game against Preston to what we did at Millwall. We had to go to Millwall and be, you know, resolute and dogged, but looked to hit them on the break nicely. And I don't think we were quite clinical enough. But then it tailored 2 halves against Preston. I think that both teams cancelled themselves out first half. Preston definitely set up to try and take a point and nick it if they could. Which a lot of teams do in the Championship, which is fine. We did it for a long time under Rowett, and I think that's testament to the way we're playing, not just at home but in general. And to find a way to open up Preston, I mean, I know about the first goal, it was a fluke, but we opened them up for the next 2, and was comfortable in the end, really, wasn't it? And 3 goals at home, and a very, very good performance, especially second half. It was a really good performance. I think, you know, the burning topic at the minute is Che Adams. I think that he is the man on form at the minute for Blues, and I said at the start of the season, if you go back and watch my videos, look, I know I criticised him, but wasn't it fair criticism? The criticism of Che was that he wasn't working hard enough and he wasn't putting in the, I don't know, he wasn't putting in the hard yards, I don't think. And you know, I just want to make a quick comparison, you know, because he's blowing the league away at the minute. I think he's the man in form. Tammy Abraham or Che are the 2 informed strikers, I would say. But you've got to look at his goal on Saturday against Preston. And if I'm going to be honest, Che Adams at the start of the season wouldn't have chased that ball down in behind as hard as he did. He really, really wanted it. And that is just the way he's playing at the minute. He's playing with that fire that Gary Monk said after the Leeds performance that he needs in his belly. And he's played with it ever since. And exactly what we've said about Che. He is the best player the Blues have within their ranks if he's on his game. And ever since that Leeds game, he's been on it, and he's a wonder. He's a joy to watch. He's powerful. He's pacey. He's got great footwork. His finishing, he's fantastic. He's a Premier League finisher. I would be lucky to keep a hold of him after this season. But Che's upturn in form is reminiscent of this team and how good we're playing. And yeah, I think he speaks for the whole team really in his performances. So on to our opponents this weekend, Bristol City, and they're a funny team. They're an odd one because obviously we all know about what they did last season and how good they were last season. Well, I say good. They up until February they looked certain for playoffs at least minimum. I think they were in the automatic promotion spots. They went on that mad run in the cup, and they just fell away. And ever since that, all right, they've not had a bad season this season, but they've been nowhere near the heights that they've been last season. Johnson in his midweek press conference compared Blues this season to Millwall of last season, and while I can see a few of his comparisons in that, I think he talks about the home form. I think that's what he's alluding to in terms of we're hard to beat at home and we have a style of a rigid 4-4-2 with two good strikers. I disagree completely. I can see some, but not all of it. I think that we're a lot more flexible than Millwall were last season. I think we've got a lot more in the wide positions and the full-back positions than Millwall had last season. Don't get me wrong, Millwall were really good last season. But I don't quite see those comparisons. Interesting fact, against Bristol City, Blues have only lost 1 of their last 15 in all competitions. I'm going to credit Brummy Joe for this fact. He put it in our chat the other day. I think that's, and the only defeat that was actually the last game away at Ashton Gate last season under Gary Monk. But that was a team in transition, and you know, I don't like to allude too much to statistics and records, but you know, it bodes well for us going forward into this weekend that, you know, we've only lost 1 in 15 and our home form stands with us. But the last 3 results against Bristol City, obviously last season under Redknapp we got that 2-1 win, Mags getting that beautiful second goal. The season before that, the 1-0 at home, Shay Adams scoring a late goal from a corner, and then the season before that was that manic 4-2 where previous manager Steve Cottrell was in the away dugout that game. So our record is 100% against Bristol City at home in the previous years. Just looking at their previous lineup to last game, you know, we gotta look at some of their standout players, because they've got a lot of talent in their team. They really have. So they lined up in sort of a 4-2-3-1. Again, a lot of teams play with this. It's very flexible. Can play as a 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1, or sort of a 4-4-2. So you were lining up with, I'm not going to try and say the goalkeepers, Menapa in goal. A back four, Pisano, Callas, Webster and Kelly. I think the back four doesn't speak too much. I know about Pisano, and Callas obviously spent a lot of time at Middlesbrough and Fulham. But overall, it's not the strongest defence we've seen. I know that they're sort of missing the likes of Nathan Baker. They sold Flint obviously in the summer, who obviously has been a rock for them in previous years. But their defensive record this season's been okay. Sort of sitting 2 midfielders, which is really where they stand out for me, is Marlon Pack and Josh Brownhill in midfield. Marlon Pack, someone that really can control the game against Blues, and you know, I would highlight as their key man, their danger man. Brilliant technical ability, great range of passing again. A 3 sort of in behind the striker of Ellison, Vyman and Patterson. Again, Patterson would be the other key player I would highlight. Very quick, very tricky player. And they possess a lot of pace in that position. And then Jeju up front, I'm not his biggest fan. But we won't go too much into that. I don't like him, if I'm honest. He's a menace up front. He's a physical presence and he's got a bit of pace about him. And that could be a big problem for Blues this weekend. In saying that, we've dealt with a lot of physicality this season with whatever teams are thrown at us. So we're quite good and we're quite solid at the back. So I'm sure, you know, they pose a lot of threat against, you know, Bristol City, as do most teams in this league. But, you know, it's nothing that really overly scares me that we can't deal with. You know, in saying that, let's not jinx it. Bristol City's last 3 games, a bit of indifferent form again, as a lot of teams that we're seeing at the minute this season can't really get a consistent run going, you know, ourselves excluded from that. Previous 3 games, they lost 2-0 away to Leeds, but again, Leeds is a tough place to go. Nobody really expects to get anything from Ellen Road. And then a 3-2 away at Ipswich. I know they were losing that one and managed to come back, so that shows, you know, they've got a lot of character within that team, and they got goals in them away from home. They really have. They got goals in them, you know, all round. And then a 1-1 at home to Millwall at the weekend, which really would have disappointed them at home. So very indifferent, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. But, you know, 4 goals in that time and however 5 conceded. So, you know, a bit of topsy-turvy form. As for Blues, team news for Blues is that Hotter has been back in training and should be fit to play. I don't expect him to start, but you know, I've been proven wrong this season. I think Mahoney deserves to keep his place for now. So I'd line up with Camp in goal, who, if he gets another clean sheet, I am in so much trouble because I have to get a tattoo of his name on my leg. So here's hoping that we win, but concede. But hey-ho. A back 4 of Collan, Pedersen, Dean and Morrison. There's no need to change it. Fantastic back 4, so solid, so consistent. And it's that consistency that's proving key for us this season. I really think it is. A midfield 4 of Mahoney, Magoma, Gardner and Kieftenbeld. I think the midfield 2, as was highlighted by a lot of people, were the standout players from the last game, along with Shea. I think their cohesion and their composure in midfield, but their determination and their energy in midfield is infectious, and you know, we thrive off that. I think they're the heartbeat of the team at the minute. And then obviously Adams and Jukovic up front, who hopefully one of them can continue scoring at the weekend. It's usually one or the other at the minute who's scoring. I'd like to see Juki get another goal again, continue his good form this season. But obviously, you know, we take goals from anywhere. Obviously, I'd like to see, obviously, we've got Hotter coming back now. You know, we've got Craig Gardner. Davis is back possibly by the end of January. Vassell back by the start of January. So things are looking up. It really is looking up. If you haven't already read my article, go to BCFC Followers, and you can look at where I've alluded that Blues need to sort of strengthen in January. It was a good read, said some people, you know, if I don't mean to toot my own horn. But you can go and look at that in a bit more depth, guys. But just to round this off, we're looking at a score prediction. I don't mean to brag, but I've called it. I called the 2-0 away at Millwall, and I said that we win 2-0 last week and Shane Kieftenbeld would score. So, and then I also changed in the vlog, if you'd have saw, and said that Mags would score. So I guessed all three of the goal scorers and didn't quite get the score right. So I'm going to call this one again. 3-1 Blues. I think at home we're a bit of a handful, and I don't think teams are able to cope with us in a minute. And with Bristol City score, you know, not quite able to keep clean sheets, to be honest. I think there's a goal to be had there for Blues. But Bristol City pose a good threat themselves as well. So, guys, that is everything for this Bristol City preview. I do hope you enjoyed. Can we hit 75 likes on this video? And, guys, don't forget to keep an eye out for the vlog, obviously, which will be out as soon as possible on Saturday evening, as will the review. And I will be trying to do a podcast, actually, later next week, a Christmas special. But, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and have a fantastic week. I'll see you down St Andrews, guys, and keep right on.